former Congressman Allen West is shocked and surprised that he has any common grounds with House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi. She has been so far left and so scatterbrained for so long that no one expected her to go that far. The minority leader came out in opposition to the violence coming from the left. Specifically, she targeted Antifa and their fascist tactics. Read Mr. West's comments here. There's an old saying, even a broken clock is right twice a day. And I will always be one to give credit where credit is due, and well, get ready for it. I must agree with something House Democrat Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi said. I know, shocking, stop the presses, what is happening in the world, solar eclipse, epic flooding, and now I'm agreeing with Nancy Pelosi. Well, don't go getting too excited, as Val Kilmer's Doc Holliday said in the movie Tombstone, my hypocrisy can only go so far. As reported at SNES News, Democratic Minority Leader Representative Nancy Pelosi, Democrat California, says the violent Antifa anarchists who rampaged in Berkeley, California last weekend should be arrested and prosecuted. Pelosi, in no uncertain terms, denounced Antifa violence no matter the ideology in a statement released Tuesday. Our democracy has no room for inciting violence or endangering the public, no matter the ideology of those who commit such acts. The violent actions of people calling themselves Antifa in Berkeley this weekend deserve unequivocal condemnation, and the perpetrators should be arrested and prosecuted. We must never fight hate with hate, Pelosi concluded. In California, as across all of our great nation, we have deep reverence for the constitutional right to peaceful dissent and free speech. Non-violence is fundamental to that right. Let us use this sad event to reaffirm that we must never fight hate with hate, and to remember the values of peace, openness and justice that represent the best of America. Okay, the real question, is this a Kathy Griffin moment, referring to Griffin who came out and gave an apology for her absurd and despicable portrayal of holding a mock-severed head of President Trump? She recently came out and said she didn't mean the apology. So, does Rep. Pelosi really mean this? Is her statement sincere? That's up for you to assess, but here's my analysis. I see everything done by folks such as Nancy Pelosi through the lens of politics and optics. Right now, the progressive socialist left, the Democrats, are under the delusion that they can win back the House in the 2018 midterm elections. What Pelosi doesn't want to have happen is any jeopardizing of that crazed possibility. If there's one thing working against the Democrats at this time, it's their silence in specifically identifying Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization and denouncing its violence, nor have we heard them condemn this resistance movement. Bottom line is, the Democrats, and their media allies so concerned with First Lady Melania Trump's shoes, are seen as enablers, allies of this truly dangerous, violent, fascist organization called Antifa. I think more than anything else, Nancy Pelosi has come to a realization that their hypocrisy is being exposed. Therefore, in order to have a greater political gain, she's come out and publicly denounced the group. Now, we see that happen often with groups such as the Council for American Islamic Relations, CAIR, who offer very weak-tempered responses in the aftermath of Islamic terror attacks. But they always caveat their statements by demanding no ramifications against the Ummah, and they still support the ideals of a civilizational jihad and shutting down any speech that exposes them as a Hamas, Muslim Brotherhood, linked group. Is it possible that Rep. Pelosi alerted Antifa that she was going to make such a statement, and why it was necessary for her to do so? The real proof will be if Antifa ceases to exist, and if they do not go away and continue with these violent attacks, will they indeed be arrested and prosecuted? I did notice what Ms. Pelosi did not say. She did not castigate this organization as a domestic terror. She did not address the black-clad garb and masked faces. She did not call for Antifa's dismantling and for those funding it to be prosecuted. As I stated yesterday, we need to focus not on the specific actions of the left but rather its strategy. What Nancy Pelosi did was address the specific violent actions from this past weekend, Never did she refer to all violent actions of Antifa. I want to hear Nancy Pelosi and all Democrats outright demand that Antifa cease to exist. I have no issue stating that I want to see the KKK, white supremacist groups, and neo-Nazi groups gone. I don't speak in specifics but deplore their ideology and all their actions. Pelosi was very cagey in stating that we must never fight hate with hate instead of saying we should eradicate all groups advocating for hate. So, yes, I do agree with former House Speaker Pelosi's statement. However, I do not trust her intentions and am feeling that there is more here. Keep reading. Shock. I actually agree with what Nancy Pelosi just said. Alan B. West. AlanWest.com